Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Andrew Horos of the Metropolitan Police Department's Air Support Unit. I grew up in the area and joined MPD 17 years ago because I love this city. It means a lot to be able to introduce the mayor this morning. In her legislation, policies, and budget, Mayor Bowser has stood by the Metropolitan Police Department and its officers. She believes in supporting officers and good policing. It is clear that Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith want to provide officers with the necessary tools to do the job and keep communities safe. Our mayor and chief have dedicated resources into increasing the number of officers on patrol, opening the real-time crime center, and securing new technology and equipment for officers to use in the field. Throughout my time on MPD, I've witnessed firsthand the positive impact that technology has had on this city. Today's announcement will introduce technology that will continue to reduce crime, make the community safer, increase officer safety, and save lives. I'm honored and proud to introduce the Mayor, Muriel Bowser. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, good morning, everybody, and I want to thank the lieutenant and all the men and women here at MPD's Air Support Unit. Please give them a big round of applause. I want to recognize Chief Smith and Deputy Mayor Lindsay Apia, and we're going to get right to the order of business for today. We are here to talk about new resources for MPD that will help support officers to help our efforts to continue to drive down crime. Here's where we are, better than last year, but we recognize that there's more work to do across all parts of our city. The number of homicides are down by 22%, robberies down 31%, including a very big dip in carjacking offenses. Total violent crime down 27%. So all in all, violent crime, total crime is down 17% in the District of Columbia. So thanks, MPD. Please acknowledge them. And we will keep pushing for the entire summer and the remainder of the year. And the chief is always thinking about ways to integrate new technology into MPD strategies. In April, we were together when we cut the ribbon on the Real-Time Crime Center, and over the last several months, the Real-Time Crime Center has been instrumental in getting access to videos and photos in real time. And to support those efforts, my budget includes funding for 200 new CCTV cameras and nearly 50 new license plate readers to be added over the next year. So we know that this type of technology has helped MPD solve and close cases, including tracking down 2 suspects who shot at an MPD officer last month. The suspects in that case were located in less than an hour because of how we were able to utilize license plate readers and the Real-Time Crime Center helping to coordinate our deployment. So most Washingtonians are familiar with MPD's helicopters. MPD refers to them as Falcon 1 and Falcon 2, and they're used to track down suspects linked to serious crimes in the district. Just last year, the helicopters assisted with 76 arrests, including carjacking, shooting, and homicide suspects. They are also used to support our search for missing persons, river checks, and more. So today, everybody here is excited that we're delivering a new Falcon 1, which you can see behind me. And this is a much-needed replacement to our current helicopter. It has the latest technology, is faster, more agile, and more fuel efficient. MPD will also be adding drones to support their aerial support unit, which you will also see behind me. And so we know that people know about drones from watching them on TV, and we want you to know how MPD will use them to keep the community safe. The bottom line is that they will help the community and our officers as we are working to make violent crime go down in the district. They'll help us solve more crimes and allow us to use our finite resources more efficiently. So having said that, I'm going to turn over to our experts at MPD, beginning with Chief Smith.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Chief Pamela A. Smith, the Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department, and it is my pleasure to be here today joining Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Lindsay Appiah, and I want to thank the best mayor in the country, Mayor Bowser. Without her support and dedication to the men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department and making sure that we have the resources that we need to fight crime, we would not be standing here today. When Mayor Bowser appointed me as Chief of Police almost 1 year ago, I made a commitment to her that I was going to move the agency forward. And that entailed conversations with her about different ideas and new initiatives that we could come up with to make our communities safer. And we have been doing just that. One of my top priorities has been identifying technology to help us be more effective with crime reduction. And it is because of the mayor's support that we are here to announce the launch of MPD's drone program and unveil our new helicopter, two critical investments that will expand the capability of our air support unit and to also help us combat crime. While the District of Columbia has highly regulated airspace, the Metropolitan Police Department has worked with the Federal Aviation Administration and other key entities to ensure that we have a program that complies with all applicable laws and regulation. Our drone program focuses on providing officers with a tactical option for situations that involve volatile or violent incidents where a quick deployable eye in the sky will be critical to ensure a safe resolution for all. With the ability for the drones to link directly to our real-time crime center, we will be able to provide even more information to our officers on the ground. Specifically trained officers deploy this technology in response to individuals with weapons and barricaded subjects, as well as assisting with cases involving major crash reconstruction, searching for missing persons, and even utilizing them for crowd management for large gatherings. Additionally, officers may leverage these drones for service of high-risk search warrants, and other indoor applications where drone technology may reduce the potential for confrontation between our officers and our armed suspects, or when it can provide critical information about when our officers are entering particular areas. We know that the use of new technology can give rise to concerns about privacy, and I want to assure you that we are also focused on protecting the community's privacy. We have strict policies on when and how our drones can be deployed and also when they cannot be used. And let me be clear, our drone program today will not utilize artificial intelligence, facial recognition, or be used for general surveillance purposes. Our policies and procedures for our drone program will be posted on our new drone webpage, along with frequently asked questions and a community video that captures a scenario in which MPD will operate a drone. I encourage you to go to mpddc.dc.gov/drones to learn more. Beyond the drone program, we're making significant investment in modernizing the air support technology we already have in place. We're very excited, super excited, to be standing here today in front of you to demonstrate and to show you our new Falcon 1. Our air support unit is a critical and crucial crime-fighting element, and over the past year, we've leveraged Falcon 1 even more for tracking down offenders. This has accelerated with the launch of our MPD's Real-Time Crime Center. Our helicopters play a key role in responding to crime and being able to quickly and safely pursue suspects from the air. So far this year, the Air Support Unit, as the mayor stated, has assisted with 76 arrests and responded to 493 calls of service. This is a unit that completed more than 1,500 calls for service in 2023. The work of Falcon enhances our work on the ground and expands the reach of our real-time crime center. It is this investment in a new helicopter which will expand our success here in the district. The new Airbus helicopter that's with us today is equipped with the latest technology and is safer and more fuel efficient than its predecessor. The new technology combined with our new drone program will allow our officers to be more effectively able to safeguard and protect the residents of the District of Columbia. We are going to continue this progress, and I am grateful for the key investments in Mayor Bowser's approved FY25 budget, including replacing or purchasing 200 new CCTV cameras, 47 license plates readers, and replacing Falcon 2, which is behind you, or over on this side behind you. I'll conclude by thanking Mayor Bowser again for her continued commitment to public safety and her unwavering support of the Metropolitan Police Department. I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Okay, so we'll be able to take a few questions, and I think we're going to have a demonstration of the drones. You can take a look at the helicopter as well. Yes, sir.
On the drones, I'm wondering if you can tell us why it's taking this long for MPD to get drones. It seems like, you know, I think some of us might have guessed that you already had them. So many other agencies around the country do. So, one, I'm wondering, you know, why it took this long for MPD to get drones, and do any other DC agencies have drones or will be getting drones?
Let me just say this, Mark. We're different, as the chief has already mentioned, that the airspace, you know, in other parts of the country, you know, there's more than police agencies have drones. Everybody has drones. The airspace around the district is restricted, however. So I'll let the chief talk about the timeline, and it's my understanding, I think that DDOT can sometimes use them for different projects. Private entities can request a use of them from the FAA as well to get aerial shots for construction purposes. Chief?
And so, Mark, to answer your question just a little bit more in depth, the Metropolitan Police Department, we have been working on procuring a drone program for a couple of years now. As you know, it takes a lot of research. We have to make sure we have guardrails around what we can and cannot do, the capabilities, and then we also have to have our internal policies. The other piece is that we also need to ensure that our pilots are trained, Part 107. But then the other aspect of it is, as you know, the mayor stated there's restricted airspace. And so we have to also ensure, that we are in alignment with FAA rules and regulations. And so sometimes that takes a little bit longer than what we initially think that these things can take place. You're welcome.
Hey, Chief. Matt
Yes, sir.
with the Washington
Hey, Matt.
Times. Hey, just checking. You mentioned something about certain situations where drones can't be used. Can you just lay some of those out and why that is?
Well, obviously, you know, the capability of a drone is what it is. And so it's obviously the opportunity for us to be able to have additional eyes in the sky, if that makes sense. When the weather is inclement weather, we cannot use drones at that point. What we're utilizing our drones for during this period is for tactical operations only. And what that means is that they will not be used for patrol operations. And when I say patrol operations, there must be a request or call for service that is sent to the watch commander, and the watch commander will then reach out to our Homeland Security Bureau chief to determine whether or not that request requires a drone. At that point, our drone operators will go into effect and then activate or launch the drones to those particular areas. We're very, very mindful. And if you also want to take a look at our policy that's going to be on the public-facing website for the drone program, you'll find some of the other prohibitions or restrictions. Sure. Yes, they will be used in pursuits if there's a call for service, because as you know, I'm pretty sure anywhere across the United States, we want to make sure that those folks that are operating vehicles in a manner whether they have committed a crime or in the process of a crime, we want to make sure we do everything and use every bit of technology that we can in order to apprehend those suspects. Yes, sir.
Hi, Chief.
Hello there.
Can you please describe the difference between what the drones will be allowed to do in terms of looking into private homes,
Sure.
et cetera? What are the instances when they are allowed to do that, and when
Sure.
are they not allowed?
So let me start by saying that when the drone is launched, and I know many members in the community have been concerned about this, and this has been a conversation that I've had with some. When the drone is launched, it will not be recording at that time. So when people talk about privacy, there will not be a need for us to activate the recording as soon as it's launched. It will be launched in the geographical area in which the call for service take place. What that means is we will respond to barricades. We will use the drones for barricades. We'll use the drones for mission critical events, missing critical adults and or youth. We will also use them for crowd management whenever there's a need for large gatherings or if there is an incident where there is civil disturbance in that particular space. We will also utilize the drones for major crash reconstruction, where, as you know, we oftentimes have our officers out there doing that work. Having the drone in the air to be able to help us to reconstruct that area will allow us to open the roadway a lot quicker. Yes, sir. Oh, a lot of y'all got questions today, huh?
Chief,
Leonard.
can you talk about the privacy aspect here in terms of the concerns that people in the public may have and what you've heard from the public about concerns about privacy?
Sure. And so, I've had the opportunity to socialize the thought process around drones with some of our stakeholders and some of the residents here in the District of Columbia last week. I knew we were launching it this week, but just to kind of get a pulse check, what I've heard is that people are very excited about us utilizing this new technology. Of course, the concerns are the concerns that I think I addressed by people feeling as though the drones would just be up in the air. It is not used for patrol operations, by no means necessary. There will be a designated reason as to why we will utilize those drones that I just outlined. I don't think the public has any concern about that. What I think the public wants is for us to drive crime down. And we know that utilizing drones in other areas here in this region and also across the United States, using drones have been successful, and we will continue to leverage that technology in this space at MPD.
What accountability measures are in place to prevent abuse of the drones?
So thank you for asking that question, Sam. You always give me the good questions. I appreciate that. So in our policy, there are accountability measures. Our officers have to, before they launch the drone, there's a checklist for the drone. They also have to make sure that anytime there is any, let's say, an accident with the drone, that has to be documented like we would with any other equipment. They also have to make sure that within the checklist, they are ensuring that every single aspect of that checklist is completed before they can launch the drone. Even when they return the drone, there is a debriefing after the drone has been launched, and then there is the additional paperwork that goes along with that. Yes, sir.
Did you have a follow-up? Chief, Rebecca
Yes,
with
ma'am.
7 News.
Hey, Rebecca.
If you can, you touched on this a little bit, but if you can clarify the situations where you'd use a drone versus the situations where you'd use the helicopter.
Yeah, and I did touch on it a little bit. As you know, our helicopter has been used for operational purposes since inception, right? That's not going to change. What the intent is about the drones, I think it's and the helicopter overall is three aspects. Number one, it becomes a force multiplier with regards to our officers, our resources. You know that we're still trying to recruit officers. We're not yet there, and so this will be a force multiplier for that. The second piece of it is that, we respect the fact that with the drones, there are some privacy concerns. And as I stated before, we will not be using artificial intelligence, and nor will we be using facial recognition with the drones yet. And then the third piece is that we're just excited about having new technology and being able to leverage new technology. The patrol operations with our pilots and our helicopter will continue. The drones will be used for tactical purposes only at this point.
A follow-up question. If you can talk about, speaking of this new technology, if you can talk about the augmented reality mapping system.
I can't talk about it, but I'll have the subject matter experts talk about that if that's okay with you.
And maybe, Chief, if you can touch on, how many different departments nationwide use that kind of technology already.
So I think what we've found in our research is that there are over 1,500 police departments across the nation that are using drones. And one of the things about our helicopter is that it's just advanced technology. We've always had two helicopters. We've always had helicopters here in the District of Columbia approximately 20 years or so ago. And we're just advancing that piece of equipment. But I will have Office Pilot Hertel come over and talk a little bit about the specific question you asked about the equipment.
In reference to your question about the ARS or augmented, the mapping system, it is a 3D system now as opposed to our other one was only 2D. It gives you the ability to put on grids to show streets and businesses, locations in 3D. Also, it has the ability to lock on to a car and a pursuit or a building, which creates better crew resource management inside. So the TFO or the guy on the left side handling that while I'm flying can now look in and look at the streets as well, or look on there, or look for something in the aircraft to change your radio without losing the car or being over the house and such. It's a big game changer between what you're seeing in front of you and the ability to get there, to look at a specific address is big, because say you have a suspect on top of a building and you have row houses and stuff, to specify that that's the building right there and to circle around that and look at that one building is quicker than coming in and sort of doing a larger orbit looking at the building tops.
Chief Rafael with WSA9. Just a question about data and image storage, how that's going to work, and if there's going to be policies in place. For example, like body-worn camera footage, there's like a data release. Is there a similar policy in place for this kind of footage?
So our policy in place for the drones, they're already in place. I will direct you to our website. On the website, we have a drone page. And on that drone page, we have FAQs, frequently asked questions, and we also have a video that would give you an example of how the drones would be used. And then the second piece of your question is, what was your second question? The storage. So with respect to the storage, it will be handled the way we would handle any type of evidence, right? There would be the chain of custody. Then it will go into our evidence.com. And then if the general public or someone would like to have access to it, they would have to go through the FOIA process.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. How many drones exactly will you guys have in use? And will they be manned on site or at the RCC or?
Well, thank you for that question. So we have currently today we have 5. It is certainly my intent to expand, and it will be utilized out of our Special Operations Division Air Support Unit.
Chief Smith,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
mentioned that generally the drones would not be recording unless there was a specific call for service where police are called. Are there any circumstances where the drone would be recording in another context, like at a protest? The FAQ says something about individuals may be recorded while MPD is monitoring for other reasons, such as observing crowd movement.
Yes. So I think one of the questions that came up this morning was the difference between a peaceful protest and crime, right? And so in the event that we monitor and manage large crowds all the time, whether it's a First Amendment activity, whether it's a protest, whether it's a demonstration, however you choose to characterize it. But when that peaceful protest turns into an element of a crime, we can now utilize the drone to be able to eyes in the sky, zero down on what's happening in that space. And again, we want people to exercise their First Amendment rights here in the District of Columbia, and it is certainly not our intent, by no means necessary, to encroach upon that. But when a crime is being committed, we now have the technology to be able to get in there and see what's happening. And it also keeps our officers safe.
Last question.
Well, who actually determines if the crime, if the situation turns like you talked about, like
So-
the Palestinian protests, for example?
Yeah, so what would happen is call for service would come in, right, requesting the drone. Our watch commander, it would come into the watch commander. The watch commander would then reach out to our Homeland Security Bureau chief, and based on the facts that's presented to him, they will make the determination as to whether we will use the drone or not. Sam?
Quick follow-up, if you wouldn't mind just going through that checklist for the accountability. And another question, what are your future plans as far as conveying or just laying to rest concerns about the AI to the community members?
Yep. And so I'll ask your last question. What I will refer you to with regards to the checklist, if you could go to our website, I mean, all of that information is available to you there. So the ask right now to all of our commanders and our assistant chief is to really share this information broadly. During our CAC meetings, our ANC meetings, our public safety walks, our community meetings, it is our intent to make sure that we are sharing this information as broadly and as widely as possible. We're also asking members of the community if they have questions that they could reach out directly to us, reach out to I think on the website there should be an email address where they can actually download or input their questions that they may have about our drone program. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. So I guess we're going to turn it over to Air Support now to provide a demonstration for the drone. The people already had the opportunity to take a look at the helicopter, and I think that the helicopter is going to disembark from here. So that's the program. Thank you, everybody.